right, I have returned, and before I was interrupted by Twitch, I was just thinking I was just going to change the project settings, right? We're just going to go into, well, I could do this, or I have Godot running, right? So I'll just go project settings. We have my custom logging here, and we can change the logging level higher, so that I'll just decrease kind of the verbosity, right, of the output when we run tests. So we have lots of warnings and info, so I can actually make this even less noisy if I want, if I just go to project settings and just increase this to like only warn and above. I wish there was a good way to have the configuration be able to have like an enum. Excuse me. There we go. We still have lots of warnings. Anyway, it's a little less noisy, right? Okay, so we have 38 failing tests. Let's start with, what is test save screenshot? I don't even know. Test save screen. Oh, right. So one of the things we do for the when you save out in the game is that it captures the image of the level as you were playing it. I think that's something along those lines, right? So that we have an image for the save slot, and that's what this is for, to test that. So, yeah, we don't need to save that variable because we're not doing anything with it. Okay, so unexpected errors. Condition error not okay is true. In test screenshot saved with slot. Right. So line 37. Okay, so we, what does it mean? Pass test. Marks the test as passing. Does not override any failing asserts or calls to fail test. Same as passing. Same as a passing assert. Okay. Great. What does that mean? What if we comment this out? And we run this. Do we still have 38 failing tests? Yes, it still fails at line 33. Don't know what's going on there. Well, we have the same issue, right? Condition error not equal to okay is true. Returning error at line 54. Certain null. So what's going on here? Is it something happening inside of get slot screenshot? Is that what's going on? No. Maybe in save current slot. Wait a frame for screenshot capture to complete. So if this is not usually the way you wait a frame in Gut. Godot Gut wait frame. So you can wait seconds. You can wait X process frames. Physics frames, wait for signal, wait until, wait while, pause before teardown. Use wait seconds instead of making timers. Yeah. Wait seconds. Okay, and that gives us a hold on. Do we need to await that though? See, yeah, we do. We do await it. Okay. Anyway, what the main thing I'm doing here is actually, I wonder how many times we do this. Oh, it helps if I'm not excluding tests. Okay, just that one other place. One of the things I should be doing here is as I see things that are problematic in the test, like deprecated things or things that are not like the proper way to do things in Gut, I should just like find and replace all the things, right? Like we got a bunch of warnings in the output here about like deprecated stuff, so should fix those while I'm here. But right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand what in this function is causing this failure. Right, so in test screenshot save with slot, failed unexpected errors at line 37. What is this? What does it mean? What's going on? So if I just keep on commenting things out, at what point isn't there no longer a problem? Like what is the source of the problem in this function? Huh. It's really weird, right? Because this is no longer doing anything. So that suggests to me that the issue is that something here is failing. Right? So if we just comment these out and pass, and then I run, like what is causing that failure? Okay, so now at this point, here, let's kind of like, if all we do is wait and then say the test pass, it should pass, right? But it doesn't. Test screenshot save with slot. Test screenshot save with slot. There's not like another function with the same name somewhere else? Okay. Why? Marks the test as passing. Does not override any failing asserts or calls to fail test. Same as a passing assert. Defined in this add-on. Pass test. Okay, it just calls pass. Okay, so if we do, okay, okay. So why unexpected errors, engine 0, parameter t is null. Okay. There we go. Oops. No control for that. Let's see. Godot gut. Nope. Did not copy the right thing. I'll type it myself then. That's interesting. So I was able to successfully copy and paste in the terminal, but Control Shift C. So can I paste over here? Hey, okay. So I have something in the clipboard. Okay, there we go. Okay. So what is this error about? Parameter T is null. Nothing. Nothing at all. Anything else in Reddit? Trouble constructing GDScript instance. Wouldn't it be great if you could just search for exact text? Surely someone somewhere has written something where they have gotten that error. It can't just be me, right? It's really weird. I mean, if we here, let's get this down to kind of the most, like, it's an MZ function. Okay, there we go. Great. Risky did not assert. Okay, so great. That's really interesting. Assert null. Right, it does some stuff and it calls pass. Right? Which is exactly what pass test does. But yeah, I wonder. Let's just unwind all this. Oh, not that far. Okay, go back to here. So I don't know what's going on here, because everything indicates that like we got this down to where we were just saying, okay, pass the test, and it was still failing. So I don't really get what's going on there. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do next is that there are a lot of places where we are getting warnings about deprecated things. Maybe we can tackle that. There we go. Wait frames has been replaced with wait physics frames. Wait process frames has also been added, which is counted in process. Okay, so there are places where we are using wait frames. Like so. What kind of frames do we want to wait? Do we want to wait physics frames? Probably not in a UI test. So we probably want to wait process frames. Is this going to make anything better? Probably not. Right, it's just an issue of this is deprecated. But it's something that we can do that will address some noise here. In fact, is there anything where we would want, like, all of these look like UI sort of things, so we probably just want to go ahead and replace all these instances of wait frames, wait process frames. Okay, then if I run tests, maybe, I mean, it's not gonna make any test. I hope that it doesn't make any test pass that didn't pass before. Yeah, still 38, but we addressed some things. So this one stands out and maybe can be pretty quickly fixed, right? So test get effect config returns valid config. So that's in test audio manager. Valid config. So this, do we want to test our configuration, right? It's just asking, hey, if we get the configuration for player attack hit, does it have the value? Is it in the combat category? I mean, I guess the question is, why doesn't this work? Where is that function? Get effect config. We just go to sound effect configs and we get the effect from this dictionary. Ah, but it has to be loaded. That should happen. But we're expected to equal 1. Player attack hit. Get the config. Config should not be null. Very good. Config category should be in combat category. Combat being 1. But when we read the value, player hit, player attack hit is the config. The category is 4. That's interesting. Why is the category 4? Sound effect resource, there it is. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so we have a new category, player action. So yes, the test is out of date. Now, should we have this test? Like, I think it's probably fine. It's something that, yeah, it's based on config, but it's testing that our loading of the configuration is working more than anything else. Like, I wouldn't want to do this test for every single thing that we are configuring, but for just one, just to make sure that the config loading works, it's probably fine. Okay, so what else is failing here? Test all sound effects having configs. Let's see, test all sound effects have configs. So we say, hey, yeah, let's not, I don't think I want to actually assert that that's true. Yeah, let's get rid of those two tests. Test play sound effect, test play sound without pitch override uses config. So if we don't override the pitch, it uses the one in the config. Okay, well, I just removed the two tests that were failing. So, because we don't have all the sound effects yet. We still need to do that. That's no reason for the test to fail, just because I haven't configured things yet. All right, run the tests again. I'm going to keep those warnings, though, about things not being configured. There we go. We're down to 35 failing tests. Super. 36 orphans, right? So what are orphans in this context? Is this stuff that we are provisioning that we are not cleaning up? I think so, right? Because these are objects. These are like instances. So we should probably do something there, but it's not maybe the most pressing thing. Okay. Oh, hey, look at this. If we look, hey, it's our test save screenshot. Look, error, failed to open. Save select 9.save. Failed to create backup. Parameter T is null. Presumably because we're trying to do something with textures. in save manager. Interesting. Could not give viewport image for screenshot. Yeah. Okay, that's where all those parameter t is null things were coming from. Turns out, looking at the whole console output and not just the output of the assertion is valuable. Okay, so I'll come back to that at some point. What about this one? Test audio, test button press triggers audio. Expected null to be anything but null. Audio stream should be set after button press at line 122. This is in test soundboard. Okay. Soundboard. Test button press triggers audio. Do I so the soundboard is kind of like a utility program to be able to test sound, so we worked on that many streams ago. This is something where I'm kind of inclined to just remove tests if they're broken rather than spend a ton of time on it, because it is just a utility. Yeah, so like, no, we can't reliably test if audio is playing in headless mode. And so this is what's failing, right? Audio stream should be set after button press. I'm just gonna delete it. The soundboard works, so if there's a failing test, there's something wrong with the test. There we go, 34. Alright, we have some failures here in test component damage numbers, test currency manager, back to this. Test panic behavior, unexpected errors. Test save manager, test scenario bonus XP. I'm looking for something that will be like, these things are either, you know, we're like something's wrong with the test, because these things can't be too broken because they have been working. So I'm kind of looking for things that are more interesting here. Expected object scenario manager to have emitted signal scenario started. Signals emitted, none. Didn't emit signals. Okay, so in test scenario manager runtime, what a name. Test set current scenario emits signal. You know what's good for things like this? Can we go to the outline? No, because we need to like probably restart everything, because it's relying on the integration with Godot, right? For that, so we'll just look. What we're looking for: test set current scenario emit signal. There it is. Let's turn on word wrap. There we go. So this function, scenario manager did not emit signal scenario started. Should it? Okay, so we are watching for signals in scenario manager. We could definitely do this way, so that we're explicitly naming the signal, like we're referring to it, so that can be checked sooner. Why are we asserting twice? Asserts that the specified object emitted with the name signal. You must call watch signals. That has signal text, object signal name text. Okay, assert signal emitted with parameters. Asserts that the signal was fired with specified parameters. The expected parameter should be passed as an array. Optional index can be passed to when a signal has fired more than once. So fail with the specific message if object not being watched, the object does not have specified. Yeah, but we can't pass the text of for the assertion. I think the question is though, if we, I mean they, yeah. So the question in my mind is though, we're asserting these two things about signals being emitted. I wonder if 48 should be emitted. Signals emitted none. Did not emit signal. Okay. Like, this is kind of redundant. I don't think that's going to fix the issue. Here's a question. If we, if I run tests and then I say, hey, run tests, unit, test scenario manager, runtime, will it just run that file? No. Can we ask for help? Can we ask Gut for help? I would like to be able to run one file from the command line. So this is running this script, which is our entry point for the command line interface for Gut. The actual logic is in add-ons gut CLI, gut CLI. Great. So in, what did it say? Add-ons gut CLI, gut CLI, CLI, gut CLI. I could probably go look at the gut docs. Do we think that'll be faster than me reading the code? List of directories to search for test scripts in. Gtest, list full paths to test scripts to run. Will this work? What was it? Test? Seems like no. What if I do -- first? Maybe Godot is eating the command line argument? Nope. Okay. To the gut docs. Godot gut CLI options. No, I did not mean git. All right, let's make this bigger. Okay. Options. Example. Godot-s-d-path. Oh, gtest equals res. Okay. No. Try again. Res test unit sample test. Okay. We get anything at the beginning telling us that we did something wrong? Wouldn't that be nice? Where did we start? Lots of errors. We shall fix them all. Where do we start though? There we are. We should fix this at some point. Using temporary output. Okay, so that didn't work. Oops. What if I remove the 2 dashes? Nope. Okay. On the test script, set log level, exit when done. Are we passing in path? No. Got command line.gd. Yeah. Wonder what this would do. Oh nope. We're over here. Nope. Still running other unrelated things. I would like it to not. Maybe. Ooh. Gut config is somehow overwriting. So directories should exit, should maximize compact mode, hide orphans, ignore pause. Okay. New class test suffix prefix. Yeah. Double strategy parallel, ignore pause, include sub DIRs, common errors. G exit. I mean, that seems to be happening. Oh, right. So that's probably should exit. Yeah, that's already there. I wonder if so if we do G test, I wonder if that doesn't override the directory specification, right? All scripts that contain the specified string in their file name will be run. G select. Interesting. Let's try that one. Yay, all right, we can run one test. Excellent. We're cooking now. All right, so it didn't emit a signal. Why? I don't know. Is it supposed to emit a signal when we set the current scenario ID in Scenario Manager? Who can remember? So when we set the current scenario ID, we don't emit a signal. So invalid test. Or the code is broken, but the code's not broken. At least I'm pretty sure. Hey, you know, something we haven't done in a while that we could do? It'd be fun to do. Let's run the game. There is actually a game that we are making here, believe it or not. It does in fact exist. We can get some free scrap. We can place some turrets to defend us from zombies. We can get some achievements. The zombie will approach. There he is. We can also hit him ourselves. Maybe. If I could click better. Yeah, the zombie's over here fighting this turret since he can't get to where he wants to go. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense. That is what we want, right? Is that if somebody's doing damage to the zombie will go attack it. Prioritize it over trying to get to the survivor that they can't get to. So our AI is working. Can you help it along? Yay, first blood. Scenario complete. It needs some work, but yeah, we have a thing that does stuff. Okay, anyway. It's nice to double check every once in a while. So it seems like this whole should emit signal thing is not actually... Where else are we asserting a signal is emitted? Is there a scenario started signal on Scenario Manager? There is. What emits it? When we load the scenario. Which happens when we instantiate the scenario. But we don't even test that. So this is not a valid test. Now this is like half the picture, right? Because I'm trying to fix the existing tests, and some can't be fixed because they're testing things that aren't true anymore. I think most of these things were true at one point, but we refactored and we didn't notice the tests were failing, which means we weren't really refactoring, because refactoring is, you know, you have passing tests, you make a code change, and then the tests are still passing. So we missed a bit there. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so let's go back and just run the whole thing. There we go. One less failing test is what we should see. So we're down to what? 35, 34, 33, even better. Okay. Well, great. So I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to go back to source control. We're going to close this terminal. We're going to close Godot for that matter. We're done with that for now. I'm going to commit these changes. What changes? Well, I'm going to change this back to 1 actually. But we did make some changes to things. Besides formatting changes, we did in fact fix one issue here. We fixed some values that were that's weird. Why did this change? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, the min should not be greater than the max. Okay, but we did update some things that were causing us warnings, remove a bunch of tests that were no longer valid, and updated some things that got lost in the shuffle of trying to update things in the past. Some of these things, this is kind of like the necessary maintenance cleanup work that it's not necessarily as fun as adding a new level, but is needed if we're gonna, you know, keep on working on this. And doing this will make it easier for me to run the test from the command line. Refactored, okay, sure. Yep. Refactored this. Yeah. Sure. Removed unused tests. Yep. Okay. Great. Ship it. So I wonder now if we go to GitHub we look at this PR, so what we should see, and I think I will, so we kind of trying to get Copilot to make sure to surface errors, which it finally did get to the point where it surfaced, oh, the tests are failing. We should fail the workflow, right? I think I will also want to do that here, right? Because, hey, look, we got a green check mark, but the tests didn't even load, right? So we got a couple of minutes. I think what I'm going to do is, so what did we change here? I want to bring that change into our actively working, like our working PR. So we didn't, like, this seems, this shouldn't be necessary, right? Because if this returns a non-zero exit code, but the issue is that our run test wasn't. It's interesting, right? Why no output, first of all? Why is this all blank? Run tests. Okay. So there's a bunch of errors from Godot, right? Yeah, some class names have not been imported. Please restart the editor or run Godot headless import. So that's the part that we're missing. And I think all the other stuff that Copilot wrote for us here is not necessary. In fact, what's going on here? Because it's still not actually running. Import. Brilliant. It's just saying, hey, if you don't have imported, you need to run this. I feel like we had something. Oh yeah, in the, we definitely had a place where that was supposed to happen. Okay, if .godot imported is not present, we, okay, interesting. So why didn't that happen? Import project files. Run. It says using cached import files. So .godot imported does exist. Yet something is not working right. Like the whole purpose of this is that the process of like initially loading the project with Godot can take some time. And so we are trying to cache that, but it seems like the cache is there, but the tests don't see it. It's annoying. Gut class names have not been imported. Please restart the editor or run Godot headless import. I wonder when we... Okay, so we do include submodules when we do the checkout. That's important because the gut extension is a submodule. I don't get it. What's really interesting, so because of all of this, the unit tests don't actually run, and so gut doesn't have a chance to like exit, give it exit status, which then would cause the whole thing to fail. Which is, I guess, what this, these changes do. So I guess I'll take these changes. Do we have a, is there a commit that we can cherry pick that has just that change? What's this? Why would you change this? Oh, I bet. I wonder if there's a unit test that somehow affects the... Did we? Okay, whatever, anyway. This is wrong. But no, there's not a clean commit that I can just copy. So we'll grab these things. And let us... We're gonna... Don't exit on error for the test run. This is not... It's not what we're looking for here. It's wrong. We do want to check to see that Godot imported is present there before we do anything else. That's valid. We don't want to do this nonsense. That's silly. If this exits, then we can just show the output and we'll exit, and that's fine. What we want to do is, I guess we do want to capture output so we can look at the output. I don't know. I mean, maybe this will be sufficient to do. Let's commit this and see if that detects the problem we're having here. Right, so we're gonna run this here. Oh yeah, everything's fine, right? Yeah, everything's fine, except it's not. It's very strange. Okay, I guess the other thing, so in the workflow, the way we're doing caching, we're relying on generating a key based on the hash of these files, which should be enough to like uniquely identify things that are relevant. With path.godot. Okay, select an action. Oh, that's just general. cache artifacts like dependencies and build outputs to improve workflow execution time. That's right. That's what we're trying to do. It's not exactly working. Like this is supposed to, so clearly .godot imported exists. It must be out of date in some way. An ordered multi-line string listing the prefix matched keys that are used for restoring stale cache if no cache had occurred for key. What's it mean? An ordered multi-line string listing the prefix matched keys that are used for restoring stale cache. No cache had occurred for the key. I don't understand. Can we go look at the there we go. I opened it twice. How do we use you? Are we on the current version? Before? Yes. Okay. Create a workflow. Things. Key is an explicit key for cache entry. Creating a cache key. Path, the list of files, directories, wildcard patterns to cache and restore. So we're caching the .godot folder. Restore keys. Okay, yeah, that still doesn't really. I don't understand what this is trying to say. Look up only, fail on cache miss. Build a workflow if cache entry is not found. Don't want to do that. We want to, we'll do things the hard way. Outputs, cache hits. String value to indicate the exact match was found for the key. So instead of trying to look to see if we have this folder, what we can do is we can say if it was not a cache hit, go ahead and import, take as long as it needs. Context access might be invalid. Steps.cache. So for that to be valid, we need to give it an ID, right? And then the output is cache hit. Yes. Let's just say I've recently come to appreciate using outputs and conditionals for GitHub action workflows. Great. So I wonder if this will result in a different behavior. All right, let's get back to too many tabs. Too many tabs. Great. Go back to the pull request. No, not that pull request. Pull request we're working on. It's running. Now I'm gonna guess that. Oh, it succeeded. Okay, it succeeded. It didn't need to import project files, right? Because this was a cache hit, right? It was found for this hash, right? But it didn't work. So something's wrong. Something is wrong. So there's something wrong with the cached value here. How can that be? What are the contents of .godot imported? A lot of stuff. I wonder if we do this. Well, first of all, this will definitely result in a cache miss because of course we don't have whatever that hash is in the cache, but I wonder if this will continue to work. And does this make sense? I guess here's a question. I wonder if anyone else is doing this, right? So GitHub Action Godot build cache Imported. There is an action in the GitHub Merkle. You know, maybe there's an actually just an action that exists that we could use, like a setup Godot action. Maybe that would be a more efficient way of going, right? Of like setup Godot version, use templates. Interesting. Okay. Can we view what this action does? Action YAML. Okay, so path to relative current directory, downloads, Ben. Does it run the headless import is the question, right? Let's see, src main. Oh, my phone is yelling at me. I have to wrap up soon, but I think this is maybe a good avenue. Here, let's do this. Import. Of course, TypeScript imports. Okay. What's the? Okay. Maybe in utilities? I'm trying to figure out if it's doing the things that we need, like the things that we're trying to do, right? Import. Nope. Okay, what is it doing? What's all this code for? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So there was another action, workflow action to automatically export. Okay, cool, but not what I want to do. I'm trying to, export templates. I don't care about that. It's not what I'm trying to do. Maybe if we just go to actions and then we search for Godot. Export, export, setup. Was this the one that we were already looking at? Yes. Adds environment variables, runs, caches, installs. Okay. But it doesn't seem to run import, which seems to be necessary. Hey, runs git. Okay, let's check this out. Import time. Okay. Let's go look at the source code for this action. It's a lot of stuff. What's in here? Docker image for the base. Okay. Tester index. So 3 years ago. Oh, this is actually just guts. No. How about not? Okay, well, I'm gonna keep on working on this action, I guess. Phone is still yelling at me. Apparently, there's a hype train over at Settlex's stream. You know, I want to keep on looking at this probably this week. Hopefully, find some time to work on that if I'm distracted by other things. But for now, we're gonna rate out.